Would you take a drug that would allow you to live as your younger self? I'm asking this because Demi Moore's new film, The Substance, sees her play a 50-year-old woman who's offered a new medical procedure that allows her to live as she is now, the person she is now, but to look like she did in her 20s. So we were talking about this morning, like, would you be tempted? So this is not, Brenda, take you back to being a 20-year-old, because most of us kind of went, oh, no, I don't want to do that. But you, as you are now, Brenda, all the things you do, all the opinions you have, but to look like you did when you were 20, would you take that?
I think I still look as good as I did when I was 20. I do. I don't think I've aged. And, you know, I'm always the person that's saying, I'm not messing with what Mother Nature gave me and what God created. Thank you very much for this body, whatever it looks like, I'm happy with it. And it just seems like, you know, this film, it's a television executive that told her she had too many wrinkles. I want to see the television executive, because I think he looked like he had more wrinkles than what she had going on in places. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, leave it. Don't mess with it. If it's a miracle...
But would you not be just a little bit tempted?
If you put miracle, it's called miracle for a reason. It's like turning water into wine. It's not supposed to happen, you know, but it might happen, but look at them side effects when you do that.
But just say there weren't side effects, Coleen. You could just, like, just go back, be you, all the things you're doing, but just look like you did when you were 20 and feel like you did.
I'd be like, absolutely, give me that injection. As long as I could be me, but I could look like a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Especially in the industry we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'd get rid of all this.
Yeah, oh, I'd like to get rid of that.
But I wouldn't like to go back to feeling
20.
how I did at 20. I'd like to know what I know now, but look 20. I'd absolutely love it.
It's quite an interesting concept, though, isn't it? To know to have all the maturity that you have now, life
But you'd be
my boobs would be up here. It'd be
Who would? I would.
Well, we'd stand out. Imagine you've got, like, the body of a 25-year-old, but the brain of someone, you know, my age, in their mid-70s.
We'd be very smug, wouldn't we?
I'd be insufferable. I'd be even more insufferable than I am now. I'd right Nelly know all. I'd know everything, wouldn't I? I always have to have in the last...
Yeah,
I wouldn't have any
look
friends.
Younger being who you are.
What's wrong with ageing? I don't understand what's wrong. Everybody has to get old and everybody has to die at some point. I just don't see why we're doing all of this, you know, putting all of this focus...
hypothetically saying it's not going to happen, is it?
Oh, watch in a couple of years, 5, 10 years, there's a serum already probably in America somewhere.
Think of all the medical procedures and Botox.
I wouldn't do any of that.
Yeah, look at all of those...
You know, that people are constantly trying to look younger. So there is an obsession,
Yes, but they've all got
I wouldn't
the
do
same
them.
look.
And then you have to keep going to get it touched up.
Yeah.
Well, the people who have, in my humble opinion, people who have a lot of intrusion on their faces, a lot of fiddling around with bits and up here and back here and nothing there, they get to, like, their 60s or 70s and they look a very strange person indeed. In fact, they might have the backside of a 22-year-old, but then there are bits that don't quite fit, and they look a little bit odd.
No, I know, yeah. I remember the first time I went to New York, and I was standing in one of those fancy department stores, and there's a woman in front of me, she had, like, an amazing haircut, beautiful highlights, this gorgeous kind of suede coat, and she had a gorgeous handbag. I was like, wow, she looks amazing. And then she turned round, and she had the face of, well, I don't know, someone else's face. It was like... But the hands were
a giveaway.
An older woman's hands, and you think you can't hold back time. I know what you're saying, Brenda.
But hold on a minute, but if you could go back to being 20, but being who you are, but looking 20, that would surely then help your mobility that you're struggling with, like, now.
Yeah.
Like you were saying...
in the run-up to my hip replacement, I feel like someone who's 208. Every day it gets worse, and every day it's affected my posture, and it is very, very ageing, because I see this person reflected in shop windows or car doors, and I just think, who is that old crone? And then I realise it is me, but I know I'll get it back, because I'll work at my mobility, because up to now I've always been very mobile and very fit and able to go up and down stairs, so I just look at it. The way I'm coping with it is to think it's a temporary blip.
Yeah. It is.
I will never be as mobile.
You'll never give in to it.
No, and I'll never be as good at playing tennis as I was in my 20s and 30s, but I will get back on the tennis court.